When Meghan Markle launched her Netflix project, she promised originality, authenticity, and a platform to celebrate culinary creativity. But behind the glamorous headlines lies a darker reality. Meghan reportedly lifted entire recipe signatures from renowned chefs, rebranded them as her own, and packaged the result as fresh content for streaming audiences. The revelations, exposed by Jon Stewart, have sent shockwaves across the culinary world and fueled growing criticism of Meghan's reputation for manipulation and calculated self-promotion. For professional chefs, a recipe is more than food, it is a signature, a legacy, a stamp of creativity earned through years of discipline and experimentation. Yet, Meghan allegedly bypassed that process, pulling iconic dishes directly from acclaimed cookbooks and high-profile chefs without proper attribution. Some critics now argue that this was not oversight but strategy. A deliberate move to secure a marketable product without doing the hard work of innovation. For someone who has long positioned herself as a creative pioneer, this revelation feels like the ultimate betrayal. The scandal mirrors a recurring pattern in Meghan's public life, projecting originality while leaning heavily on the work of others. Just as her public speeches often recycle lines lifted from inspirational authors and feminist thinkers without acknowledgement, her Netflix culinary venture appears to reflect the same formula. Repackage existing brilliance under her brand while presenting it as trailblazing. And while that formula may work in the short term, it carries a long-term cost to credibility. What makes this controversy so damaging is not simply that recipes were copied, it's that they were passed off as personal discoveries. Chefs work decades to refine flavors, testing and retesting until a dish becomes uniquely their own. For Meghan to sweep in and use those creations as part of a glossy Netflix product trivializes that process and diminishes the artistry behind it. The very chefs whose work she appropriated are reportedly furious, and their anger is understandable. In the culinary world, taking a dish without credit is not inspiration, it's theft. Jon Stewart's revelation cut deeper because it exposed not just an act of plagiarism but a mindset. According to his account, Meghan's team actively sought out dishes known for their signature appeal, recipes already proven to resonate with audiences. Instead of lifting up underrepresented voices in food culture, the kind of mission she publicly claims to champion, she allegedly cherry-picked from the elite, polished their work into a Netflix-friendly script, and rebranded it as her own contribution. This approach is not empowerment, it's exploitation. Even more damning is how the controversy underscores Meghan's constant battle with authenticity. Since leaving the royal family, she has tried to reinvent herself as a humanitarian, a media mogul, and a cultural leader. Yet scandals like this one suggest her brand may be built less on genuine creativity and more on calculated shortcuts. It's one thing to partner with experts and elevate their work, it's another to erase their names, stamp her own, and sell it as innovation. That is the line critics say she has crossed yet again. The fallout has been swift. Industry insiders argue that Netflix now faces an uncomfortable question. How much of Meghan's show is original, and how much has been borrowed? For a platform already investing heavily in her brand, the association with recipe theft risks not only reputational damage but also the loss of viewer trust. Audiences can forgive flaws, but they do not forgive fraud. Once exposed, plagiarism stains everything that follows. What's most telling, however, is Meghan's silence. While her critics grow louder and chefs demand accountability, Meghan has chosen to retreat, avoiding the storm instead of confronting it. That silence is deafening and dangerous. For someone so determined to control her narrative, refusing to address credible accusations only deepens public suspicion. If there was ever a moment to prove her critics wrong, this was it. Yet, once again, Meghan has chosen deflection over transparency. Ultimately, this scandal is not just about recipes. It is about integrity. It is about whether Meghan Markle, after years of branding herself as a voice for originality and empowerment, can withstand the reality that much of her empire appears borrowed, rebranded, and resold. For chefs, it is about protecting their craft. For audiences, it is about trust. And for Meghan, it may be the clearest signal yet that her pursuit of fame continues to collide with the truth. And the stakes are only getting higher. When a high-profile figure like Meghan Markle enters a domain built on skill, dedication, and personal expression, every misstep is amplified. Chefs whose work was allegedly co-opted are not just defending recipes, they are defending their reputations, their livelihoods, and the principle that creative work cannot be casually appropriated for mass entertainment. In a world where culinary art demands precision, innovation, and authenticity, shortcuts like this are unforgivable. For audiences, the betrayal is equally tangible. Viewers expect original content from creators, particularly when a show is marketed as a celebration of culinary creativity. Discovering that signature dishes were lifted and repackaged not only erodes trust in Meghan's platform but also raises questions about the integrity of the projects she touches. Netflix itself could see fallout as credibility becomes intertwined with the scandal, with critics questioning whether the production values and branding were prioritized over ethical storytelling. Meanwhile, Meghan's pattern of exploiting the work of others without acknowledgement casts a long shadow over her entire media career. From speeches to books, and now recipes, this latest revelation feeds a growing narrative that Meghan's pursuit of fame often comes at the expense of honesty. And as scrutiny intensifies, one truth becomes unavoidable: authenticity cannot be faked forever. The world is watching, and for Meghan, the collision between ambition and truth has never been more public, more inescapable, or more damaging.